Eric Davis, good to have you on the phone. Eric, how are you?
I am well, man. Always good talking to you.
Same here. So let's get started with the 49ers. What, to the best of your knowledge, went down between Jim Harbaugh and the Yorks and Trent Baalke that required this mutual parting of the ways to take place?
Well, there's a lot of conversations that were held in, behind closed doors that we will never be privy to. But I think there was just a disconnect, partly from, an attitude standpoint. I think it had a lot to do with the offense. Trent Baalke gave Jim Harbaugh the quarterback that he wanted, but I think they were wanting to see more growth from Colin Kaepernick. I think they were wanting to see some diversity in the offense. And I don't think that, from what I'm hearing, if they had made some changes in some of the offensive staff and the way they played and the way they ran their offense, this possibly could have been saved. The relationship could have been saved, and he could still be there. But from everything that I hear, he didn't want to make any changes in his coaching staff. He didn't want to make any changes in his offense.
So where did the 49ers go from here?
That's an interesting question. The thing that you want to change the offense, some of the names that are out there of these offensive coordinators, you look up in Denver and the spread that they're running, you would think that, Rich, I personally think you should go back and grab Shanahan. I really do.
Mike or Kyle?
Mike Shanahan. Mike Shanahan, because you got to have a certain toughness. That's what Trent Baalke wants, and Jim Harbaugh brought that. There's no question he's a good coach, and he wants a tough-minded team. You get that from Mike Shanahan. You also get someone that wants an athletic quarterback that can teach a quarterback how to play within a certain system. I think you have a lot of pieces in place, and it doesn't matter who the coach is next year. When they step out with a healthy Patrick Willis, a healthy Navarro Bowman, and a healthy offensive line, especially if you can get Frank Gore back, you will immediately be a better team than what you have right now. But Shanahan actually understands the tradition that's there, and I think he would immediately work with the fan base there. So you either go out and get a flash guy that is going to run a spread offense, or I think you reach back, and if you do reach back, that's the guy who will reach back.
Yeah, I know when you say reach back, I'm talking to Eric Davis, NFL AM, NFL Network, Super Bowl 29 champion, a former 49er from 90 through 95, before Shanahan had his cup of coffee with Al Davis and the Oakland Raiders, and then went on to become the two-time Super Bowl winning head coach of the Denver Broncos. He was the offensive coordinator for your championship team. He was the one who helped get the monkey off of Steve Young's back with his play calling. We all know Gary Plummer's the one who literally took it off his back. But so he has some DNA there.
Yes.
In San Francisco.
Yes, he has the DNA. He understands what it means to wear the SF on the side of your head. The fan base understands that he knows that. It would matter to him, and he would immediately be respected by the players. I think a lot of that was lost. I really do. As much as the guys enjoyed playing for Jim Harbaugh, and the reason they enjoyed playing for Jim Harbaugh, the core of that team had always lost. They had always lost. And when I talked to Frank Gore last week, that's something he told me. He was like, hey, I like him. I'd lost before he got here. So no matter what's going on, I want to win. So you got to bring someone in there that is going to win. And they understood that, but it did get to a point to where I think the guys stopped believing that it was all of us in here together, that it really was this group of guys and closed the door and it's us against the world. I think some of that was lost, and I think they need to bring in someone that can bring that feeling back to that ball club because it's a stacked roster.
Eric Davis joining me here. I want to ask you about the Sue Stomp, Sue Step, whatever you want to call it. He's had problems with lead feet before, as we all know, off the field too. So, I mean, many times I've stepped on people before accidentally, but when you step for a second time and you feel that person again, you normally don't just jam right down on the leg and use it to push you forward and put your entire weight on the body. Do you, former player in this league, believe he did this purposely to Aaron Rodgers, Eric?
First step, I believe, was unintentional. Second step, you knew that someone was there. and it didn't really matter who it was. That's what I would say.
But that could be the MVP of the league that he's stepping on right there, Eric.
Well, but that when you know, Rich, when you're playing the game, it doesn't matter if it is the MVP. It's a nameless, shapeless object that's wearing opposite colors. That's all you're doing, man. You're just out there trying to play, and you want to get him on the ground. But the problem is that we all know the track record. So Sue can't get away with something like that. But I do know that he knew someone was underneath his foot. You're right. You step on something, you feel it. You know that there's a flat surface that you play on.
Yes.
So if it's not flat, you know you're standing on something.
Right.
And if you don't turn to respond to see what that is you're stepping on, you know, even just for risk of injury, you know that there is something there, and you know exactly what you're doing. So that's a dead giveaway.
What do you think the league's going to do here? This is a playoff game he's got this week, and with the track record, either you fine him or you I mean, it just does a mere fine. Does that work? A huge fine, or do you suspend him for a playoff game?
I personally think you fine him because what he did. Okay, he stepped on him, but it wasn't malicious. You know, it wasn't where I'm turning and I'm trying to stomp or I'm trying to kick the way he did the last time. That was sort of, yes, I know you're there, and I'm going to try to annoy you. So you have to find him. That's what I do. But I don't think you take that for this particular game and what's at stake. I don't think you take that away off of an incident like that. You don't take that player away from the Detroit Lions with what is at stake right now.
Eric Davis, who wins it? Let's just put it this. Who do we see in Arizona come February 2nd? Who do we have?
Oh, wow.
Right now, as you're sitting here, we know the 12 teams.
As I'm sitting here right now, I'm going to take the guys that earn the home field advantage. I think it's going to be tough for any team to go through Seattle in the NFC. I think Dallas has the best chance of doing it. The way they're built, because the only way you're going to get through Seattle is that you have to run the ball right between your guards. Your guard center exchange has to push people off the pile. That's where they're vulnerable. Dallas can do that. New England, do they really lose in December and January at home when Tom Brady plays the entire game? So I think that's going to be a tough one.
Eric, I'd love to get you in studio. I know you wake up at the before the crack of dawn for NFL AM, but maybe when you're off the set one day, you come right down here and we chat in person next time.
Guaranteed.
You got it. Thanks, Eric.
All right, man.
Appreciate it. That's Eric Davis of NFL AM, NFL Network.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern. On Audience.